Bike Mania! Woo!
Mountain Bike Mania is brought to you by KHS Bicycles, a full line of bicycles sold in 30 countries. Jensen USA, America's #1 online retailer of bikes and accessories, ODI, the world leader in grip technology, and Angel Fire Bike Park, the top-rated bike park in the Southwest. Welcome to Mountain Bike Mania. We're coming to you this week from the East Coast. I'm Samantha McDonald. We're here in Snowshoe, West Virginia for the 4th race in the Pro GRT series. It's been a few weeks since the last Pro GRT at Angel Fire, so here's the recap.
Last race at Angel Fire, we saw some tight competition on the longest track of the GRT circuit. We saw Bruce Klein take down the win in Junior Experts, while points leader Charlie Harrison was a ways back in 4th. In the Pro Men's category, we saw Colorado native Sean Neer storm down the mountain to take the win, with Shane Leslie sliding into 2nd.
Now that we're up to speed, here are Ross and Mikey Hatterer for a look at the course and what riders can expect today.
Thanks, Sammy. Mikey, I know you've raced here before. How is the weather holding up different than past years?
This is actually a new one for me. In years past, traditionally Snowshoe, a very wet, very peanut butter mud style course, and it's been dry for a couple days. We've seen dusty conditions. Great course put on by the builders here. Very fast, high speed, and dry, which we're not used to seeing.
Yep. And a lot of the riders just made the trip out last weekend from Mammoth, California. How do you think that affects them?
Yeah, it's definitely a cross-country drive. It's going to take a lot out of these riders. We see a lot of our junior teams making the drive. Some of the pros getting the luck of flying in. Also, our #1 qualifier, Nico Malali, deciding to miss nationals and stay local and train here, which we'll see how it plays out for him in finals.
Well, cool. Let's check out some qualifying clips.
Check out the qualifying segment brought to you by KHS Bicycles.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah, man.
Go!
Junior expert riders Bruce Klein and Charlie Harrison have been locked in a tight battle for points lead. Will one of them pull ahead, or will we have an upset? We're about to find out.
Looks like our start list for Junior X here at Pro GRT #4.
We got Charlie Harrison on top, Steve Walton taking that 2nd spot. We haven't seen him up there. We see Bruce Klein all the way back in 5th, though.
Yeah, one of the younger riders. Here's actually another one of the intense Palmer program. Your current dual slalom junior national champion, Warren Niss.
Heck yeah.
Taking the win last weekend in Mammoth on the dual slalom bike, showing that he's got the smoothness here at Snowshoe.
If anyone's going to hit these corners really well, but we'll check him out through the rock section, see if he can keep his speed up.
Hitting a good speed there through the speed trap as well.
He's
one of
up.
the higher speed parts of the track, and yeah, at split #1, he's up by a fair margin, almost 4 seconds.
Wow.
Almost looking a little slow creeping through that section, but Warren, one of those deceptively fast riders, very smooth and just consistent all the way down the hill.
And that part was all dirt, so right after that it just all rocks until the jumps at the finish line, right, Mikey?
Yeah, this course actually, the crew here at Snowshoe doing a really great job turning what's normally a pretty flat and pedally course to something that almost required no pedal strokes, and a lot of riders were really stoked on the steepness of the terrain.
So he hit the back triple or quad or?
That's actually a triple line out. So there's two tables there and a berm, and setting a new fast time though.
Heck yeah.
3:29, 7 seconds on his teammate.
You see him pedaling through the grass at the finish line?
Yeah, getting every bit of speed he can.
That'll do it. Right here we got Bruce Klein. He's either first or second in the overall GRT, so you know he's going to come out swinging for this one.
Yeah, very tight battle between him and
he jumps from the inside. Kind of cases
it
a
little bit, but making it a little bit shorter through those top grassy turns. Very hard to see how steep this section and these grassy open turns really are for these riders.
Yeah.
You can see right there hitting 40 miles an hour in our speed trap. And he's up by about a second.
Just a little bit.
Warren.
You saw the road gap. He jumped on the inside. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's definitely choosing some different lines. And another good aspect of this course is it's all taped very wide and giving riders a lot of different options.
A lot of space. And
yeah.
Except in here, this is kind of like only one line. Is that right, Mike?
It looks very one line. I mean, there are little options here and there, and you can see riders choosing to double in and out of sections like that.
Yeah.
And
here's pretty wide, but people are just hanging left because you got to turn right at the end.
yeah, a lot of these corners look, or these sections will look really good when you're on them. Whoa,
Nice.
Bruce sending the quad.
Pulling up so hard.
Actually, probably the best we've seen anybody all weekend through practice hitting that. Setting a new lead, though.
Nice, 2 seconds.
3:27. 2 seconds up on Warren.
Bet'll be stoked with that. See how the rest of the field goes.
I believe that's faster than, both times are faster than the
Qualifying,
top qualifying time in junior set by Charlie Harrison yesterday.
Well, here we got 15-year-old Nick Nesteroff taking his foot out in that corner.
Yeah, a lot of riders actually having trouble with that in practice, choosing not to gap the road gap.
Yeah, do you think that's faster or you just smoother?
We saw a similar line from that from Nick at the Port Angeles GRT earlier this year, where he chose not to gap into a section. Being one of our smaller riders, he was able to push down and stay low and still carry a lot of momentum. So
Yeah.
it seems to be working, and it did work for him.
He's up.
1.3 up, even with the slower speed of the speed trap.
That's pretty
So
solid.
this lower part of the track, though, gets very steep and very technical. So this is where the true bike handling
he's
skills
going wide outside for that.
is wow, he's going really quick through that section.
Moving.
Again, smaller rider, maybe not falling into as many holes.
Just floating over everything.
Just kind of skipping over the top of them and able to keep light on his tires and
Over
keep
that
air
rock.
in them. A lot of riders having trouble with flat tires and broken wheels. And,
Through the rhythm section.
Yeah, choosing to triple out as well, actually making it pretty smooth for being a smaller guy.
Heck yeah.
Coming across the line, let's see what his time is.
24. Wow.
New leader, wow.
By 3 seconds.
3 seconds. So
Almost
that's
3.5.
that speed was not just a visual deception. He was actually
He
doing
is
a
that
fair
fast.
amount faster down at the bottom above
Sick.
Bruce.
Well, here's second qualifier, his teammate.
Yeah, Steve actually putting down I don't want to say surprising because he is a very talented rider, but we're not used to seeing him that high in the qualifying standards, especially in the 18 and under category.
Yeah,
being just a 15-year-old rider. So to put it down as number 2 qualifying.
Do you think this track suits him? I mean, he's from Corona and there's no rocks there.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much necessarily the track as much as him just maybe finally getting comfortable with the team, the program, and the bike.
He's set up, yeah.
And just feeling like he's where he belongs, especially
Inside.
after the second place finish behind his teammate at National Champs last weekend.
In the 15-16 category, correct?
Yeah, he got the silver, and Nick takes home the national
Different
title.
line than Nick, though. He stayed inside through the rocks.
He did. Like I said, there are some different line choices, but a lot of it through here is just finding the smoother sections, trying to stay out of the holes, and trying to keep air in your tires, because any wrong turn here will put you right onto a uphill growing rock and flatten those things out real quick.
I tell you, listening to some of the other guys come down who weren't doing so well, they had the wrong PSI through their tires. You could hear the rim hit every rock.
Absolutely. Choosing to stay low through that section. Into second, though.
Wow.
3:26, still 2 seconds off of Nick. So Nick having a killer bottom section. He was able to put about 2 seconds into everybody else.
15-year-old's killing Bruce. I'm sure he's not happy about that, but
So this is the Danger Man,
Charlie
national
Harrison.
champion in the junior expert 17-18 category.
Pedaling through that, you think that's a little slow to kind of get out of your way?
I think
to jump that?
he made sure to set up and
A little
properly
better.
exit the turn, because a lot of riders, like we saw, had actually blown through that corner and gone off course. So
But
maybe braking a little bit more and then pedaling out to set up wide and get a good drive off of that.
I guess
road
Charlie
gap.
didn't really pedal uphill to get outside, but he definitely kept
And he's
his
up
speed.
at split number 1, so obviously
Nice.
it did work well for him. But we did see Nick put about 2 seconds in everybody else here in the bottom.
But
Set it
Charlie,
wide right there.
Charlie got second here last year for the junior experts behind Shane, so he definitely knows where all the rocks are and what to do. He's so fast.
He
through
looks
there.
very comfortable on this terrain, even though being out of Southern California, wet rock
So
sections
different.
like that are not something he's going to be used to. But still so smooth, keeping it just completely planted and in
Did he
control
just
the whole time.
straight line that like somehow?
Yeah, and then
Nice.
boosting the quad,
On
casing
the
up a little
pedals.
bit, but getting on the gas right away.
Pumping down the last little bit. Here we
Time
go.
to beat. And he does
Nice.
it. Wow, taking a full 10 seconds off of his qualifying time from yesterday.
How do you do that?
Charlie Harrison putting it down. That's only a few seconds off of our #1 qualifying pro time by Nico Malali.
Yeah, juniors. Charlie Harrison taking down the win there. With,
And then followed by a whole bunch of riders on the intense M16s.
yeah, and then Bruce sneaking himself in between all of them. Let's check out our athlete of the week before we jump into the pro men.
Phil Metz isn't your typical downhill rider. In a few short weeks, he'll trade the trail for the classroom as he pursues a business degree.
You know, I had difficulty with sponsors and getting injured, so I needed a backup plan quickly. And I needed education to kind of back that up. So I enrolled at Leeds McCrae College, and as a talented rider, they helped me out with giving me a little bit of a scholarship.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a full ride, but still a lot of money that's helping me balance the two things I love.
You have a culinary degree and you're studying business in college right now, and you're riding professionally.
Yep.
Where do you see yourself when you graduate?
In the end, I want to end up, I want to open up my own bike park in some ways. That would combine biking, business, and everything I love, like trail building.
But this summer was full of lessons. You're on your first tour with the Pro GRTs.
Yep.
What's that like?
I've learned that I actually like really high-speed courses. What have I learned psychologically? It's hard because you learn your limits, you learn what your failing points, and you learn your shortcomings. But I think the most important part is learning how to deal with your failures in a positive manner.
And Metz is passing on that knowledge with videos on his YouTube channel.
Recently, I've been adding some instructional mountain bike videos to help people progress on basic skills. And eventually, I'd like to build up to something more advanced skills. But my goal is to really engage the community because I want to give back. Like I've been riding for 20 years, and I think it's important as a rider to help other people out.
All right, here's the pro men start list. We got local favorite Nico Malali up on top, followed by Sean Neer, our winner of Angel Fire.
Yeah, Logan Bingley, the KHS consistent boy in the third, and Bryn Atkinson, who we didn't actually see last week at National Champs. But first rider we're to see, who's this?
This is Phil Metz, all the way from New Hampshire, so East. Whoa.
Wow.
Getting rowdy already.
We were talking about
First
that in
turn.
the junior round, almost blowing off track, and that we saw it just happen right there. Almost bite Phil right at the beginning of the run.
So Phil got a flat in qualifying, that's why he's starting so early, but he is definitely one to keep an eye on for this race.
Yeah, Northeast local, so he's definitely raced. Wow, gapping out of the cheese wedge into that section, and
Up
then
by
still
almost
able to hold the inside line.
4.5 seconds.
That even with that swap out turn up top, that's amazing. Phil is showing just huge amounts of talent right now.
Over the rocks, just floating.
Ooh, sending that down into the whole bomb hole, just pumping. You can see choosing not to take a pedal there, instead get set up right and hold all of his entrance speed.
He gets so loose on race day, tripling.
Wow,
or
actually
quadding.
pushing down over the quad. Most of the riders having to really stretch for it, and Phil was able to actually like almost race style.
Dude, he pedaled
stay
down
low.
that whole hill.
And 3:18
Oh my god.
by 12 seconds.
We still have a lot of riders to go, but that's an insane margin on Kevin
With that
Littlefield.
mistake up top, he's got to be really stoked with that time.
We'll see how it holds up. Here we got Luca Cometti.
Out of San Diego, another intense rider.
He got 5th at this race last season, so
Choosing not to double the road gap either, almost pre-jumping into that and sending it out into the flats.
he's your slalom national champ. So yeah, he's really
Two-time
good.
defending, very smooth in the corner.
Did you see him pre-jump that?
He did. He actually bunny hopped off the road gap. That was pretty
keep his
risky
speed.
line. He's down just a little bit behind Phil. We saw Phil gapping into that section.
Almost nothing though. Wow.
Just a time so tight for such a long track. Wow, looking great here through the rocks though. Lucas really smooth, one of the deceptively smooth riders. Just like that pocket airing into that little bit of a
A
backside.
couple of the tracks he builds back home has a bunch of rocks just like this, though the dirt is quite different in Southern California.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go consider to call it dirt in comparison to this stuff. Here he is,
Luca.
in through that, reaching for the quad, super smooth, and actually pumping out the exit, just like you would see on like a smaller short travel bike.
Over the line,
Into
Is that-
second.
Oh my god, almost nothing.
3:18 3/10 of a second. Wow, amazingly fast times. We saw some other riders sneak in there in between, but here's your junior winner from last year. This is Shane Leslie
Shane
out
knows
of
this
Michigan.
track, right?
Shane is going to be very, very tough to beat here.
What was that?
That was actually another almost Phil-style mistake. A little bit too fast into the turn, and I able to hold his exit.
Jumping through the middle, not off the little lip that was built on the outside of that jump.
Yeah, actually making just a really big bunny hop with a lot of consequence.
40 miles an hour into the ski slopes and back into the rocks.
Choosing to go off the low side of the cheese wedge there. He's down by a fair amount right now, 1.6. With the tires being as tight as they are, he's going to have to really turn on the gas here in the bottom rock section of the steeps if he's going to want to be in touch of that 318.1
You
by
can see
Phil.
that bike working, just going everywhere.
He's making that DVO suspension work hard for him right now. Off the drop into the flat. He's trying to stay out of as many holes as he can, keep as much speed as he can through these technical bits.
They're choosing to roll over some of the bigger rocks in that section.
Looks like he might have got a little balled up there on the exit,
Yeah.
but into the lower section.
There's some big roots at the exit.
Big reach.
That's huge.
Looking like he was on a 450 right there, stretching for a big old
Here's
quad.
someone.
I think he kept his front tire up the whole time.
Yeah, I don't think it touched the ground until he was already off the next lip. Sprinting it down the line into
320.
third. 320. It's a good run, but losing that 1.5 seconds up top.
Wow. Yeah, that front tire up the whole time.
Really getting on the gas hard. So, Mr. Consistent now. This is a rider that has really stepped up his game this year in the Pro GRTs. Kieran McKinnon,
Ooh,
foot out, letting it slide.
Yep. So I think he had a pretty bad accident here last year, so he's definitely coming back with a vengeance, trying to show everybody what he's about.
Yeah, I don't think he's finished outside the top 6 at a GRT this year, so he's going to be definitely looking to put down a smooth and consistent run.
Tying the top speed of, is it Luca and Phil? I think they're
I
tied.
think Luca and Phil have
he's up.
by
Wow.
almost a full second.
That's pretty nice.
Up by a full second on Phil.
See if he can hold it through the rocks. He's a really big guy, so pumping over them seems to be, wow, they look so small to him.
Kieran's riding is almost unremarkable with how remarkable it is. He doesn't look like he's ever really trying that hard or
But
even
he's
really going that
flying.
fast. But he doesn't seem to slow down. Nothing seems to really phase him. You
Exit
saw right
speed
there,
good.
he almost got hung up on a rock and just kept all of his momentum. Choosing to double and then triple out. So that seems like a little bit slower way to do it. To reach for that quad, but definitely a little safer.
See if he unsets Phil.
Into
Wow.
wow,
18.
just outside it.
Yeah.
3:18.3.
Wow, how did he get himself in between Luca and Phil? That's nuts.
He was up by a full second, but Phil must have had just a killer lower section.
Rock. Phil just lets it loose. He's like, brakes? What do you mean?
Bryn was one of the most exciting riders to watch all practice. He just really found traction in this rock section where other riders were struggling.
Yep.
It's really fun to watch, so I would be really interested to see how he can add to that time. Time's
Just
already faster than qualifying yesterday.
Hammers through the woods.
40 mile an hour at the speed trap into the cheese wedge,
Choosing
pre-jumping that, and then you
Yeah.
saw his rear tire already locked up going off the
Did you
top.
see him sliding down those steep
And
hills?
he's almost 4 seconds down, 3.5 seconds down at split number 1.
Something may have gone wrong.
May have had an issue. Just all it takes is one corner with how high speed that top section is.
That or those other guys just something
Looking so
clicked.
smooth though here into the lower section. So tight to that tree. Very like almost making bars of that.
Not getting hung up by any of the rocks here.
No, he's just carrying all of his momentum. Pumping it down into the lower curve, and he sends the quad actually perfect backside on it.
Complete opposite of Shane.
Yeah, and he's gonna sprint it down. Bryn's
all
time.
over the place.
3:27.
Fourth
Just
now,
in
look at that.
front, just behind Shane Leslie.
He's just trying to put the. Does he touch the brakes to set up for that stuff, or is he
It
just
looked like
sliding
he was
around?
already locked up before he hit the ground and then bounced, and the wheel barely even made traction. Logan is your number 3 qualifier.
He's been fighting with Bryn all year for the overall, though he missed his start time at Angel Fire.
Sending
in the middle.
Casing the road gap, very risky.
Whenever he's
inside.
Didn't have to pedal out of his way to clear it, so
And he's setting up really wide on that exit off the point of the
through the
cheese
middle.
wedge.
Down through the middle again.
We're choosing to go outside, hold a bunch of speed. Now the track getting very steep right after this section. We can see it almost looks riders are going slow, but what you can't tell is that that's almost a 45-degree pitch.
Yeah. Wouldn't you think if you set up off the middle of that rock, you'd want to go inside?
I think that's why some of the riders were doing it, but it also might have been a straighter entrance line for Logan to go off that section and then just really hold all of the speed all the way through rather than having to check up and fight for an inside traction. section.
He's just hammering through these rocks.
Looking like quadding out super smooth.
Yeah, dude.
Into the finish straight. Let's see what his time adds up to be.
On the pedals, pumping down.
3:19,
That's so
just
competitive, man.
outside of it.
Oh man, I cannot believe how close our top 6 are. I guess. I mean,
All of them within 2 seconds right now.
we got here number 2 qualifier, winner of the Angel Fire GRT, Sean Neer.
You want to say he's a new name on the circuit, but Sean actually had been around racing for a long time and one of the fastest juniors in the country at his time, and then took a couple years off and lived up in Whistler. Really kind of just honed his skills riding there every day for almost 2 to 3 months a year.
Just having fun.
And it showed with some great finishes at Crankworks against some of the world's best.
Yeah.
He was back.
Oh!
Wow, his speed in through that section, still fighting the inside and almost throwing it away.
He said he was finally feeling back up to speed. I mean, he looks pretty crazy.
I'm actually surprised he's able to hold on right now, especially through this rough section. He took a pretty bad crash in practice and ended up punching a rock with his hand. And it's real swollen. You might even be able to see some of the tape coming out of his right wrist. So the fact that he's able to hold on at the speed he's going.
Through
this
letting the
section.
bike just go through, and he's like, I need to be here. So
Choosing to
Nice.
scrubbing and then tripling out and getting on the gas super early.
so quick.
Sprinting super hard. Not just a great technical rider, very strong.
Racer number
Wow.
Another 318. We're
Just
Neer.
outside it into 4th in the same second though.
Wow.
Look at that. Our top 4 separated only by 0.7 of a second.
That's nuts. Well, here we got another athlete of the week. Let's see who it is before we wrap up this finals.
So you got 4th in the World Champs last year with no chain. Tell us what happened.
I broke my chain out of the start, and mechanicals and downhill racing are really common. What we're putting these bikes through, they're not always going to hold up. So to have a chain break was a bummer at World Champs, especially out of the start, because you kind of don't have it. I felt like I didn't have a shot after that. After the chain broke, I was just like, oh, well, my run's over. I'm just going to ride as fast as I can because, you know, I've practiced all weekend. I've put so much effort into this. I'm still going to ride the track as fast as I can for myself, even though I didn't think there was any chance of a result. And I ended up finishing 4th.
Every race provides an opportunity to learn, but what does Nico Malali think is the most important lesson?
I think this is a really mental sport. If you're mentally strong and if you have a lot of confidence, it really shows in your riding.
This year, Nico's brother Logan joined his team as his mechanic. It's just one example of how supportive and instrumental his family has been to his success.
My mom comes to World Champs every year. My grandparents come to World Champs, which is pretty cool. I've been in 5 World Championships so far, and they've been to all of them.
Yeah.
I think behind any good athlete, there's like a lot of people behind them that make it happen.
All right. And the man we just saw,
Our number 1 qualifier.
Nico Malali, almost home court advantage for Nico. Growing up in Pennsylvania, just north of here, one of the first races he said he ever did was here at Snowshoe.
Oh!
His
Did you see it
mechanic is
bottom out?
not going to be happy about what that rear wheel looks like.
His mechanic's his brother, too. So.
Well, I guess that's kind of maybe his brother did something wrong, so Nico did it on purpose, so he has another wheel to build.
Well, so Nico's won this race the last 2 years, so he knows the track.
Whoa! Sending that as similar to Phil's line, just gapping out into the flats.
A little bit down, but he definitely excels through the rocks. So let's take a look at these next couple sections.
And this is really where we're going to see Nico's speed and comfortability here in Snowshoe. Wow, entrance speed into this section so
I
fast.
just want to watch. He's so just like
There, into the backside, just narrowly missing the tree, gapping it out. Then choosing a very similar line to everybody else, but seems to be just barely skipping over the outsides of these rocks, keeping it a little bit
the rocks
smoother.
didn't really direct his bike too much.
Oof,
so.
getting a little passenger right there in this last section, stretching for the quad. Almost looked like he was going to rail into one of those trees.
Coming down the last little home stretch.
The man to beat,
Here
new
we
time.
3:17. What? Yes, Nico. There you go.
Wow.
Man, he pulled back like a second.
Down to the very last rider to unseat Phil, who had a great run today.
Phil sat in that hot seat all day.
All day long almost.
all
And again,
Nico.
Mr. Consistent right there, number 3, Kieran McKinnon. Luca Cometti with a great podium finish, and Sean Neer.
Down there. So let's take a look at our pro women.
This is our ODI start list for the pro women.
Got
Number
Jill
1
Kidner.
on top, the woman to beat. Jill Kintner from yesterday.
Let's take a look. Here's Camila, all the way from Argentina.
Yeah, she's on. I actually remember meeting Camila down at some of the urban races in South America, in Chile and
She raced
Brazil.
those?
And yeah, she was one of the few pro women that actually made her way down those tracks. So she's not going to be afraid of the bigger
rocks
hits
and
and rough sections on this track.
I asked her yesterday, what do you think of the track? She really liked it, but here she is going 1 mile an hour faster than Kristen.
She's dropping in to split number 1, and wow,
Whoa.
she is up. She is up by a fair amount. She is your number 2 qualifier, so we should expect a good time out of her if she can hold it together down here through the rocks.
Seems decently comfortable. I know she has her bars set right above her suspension fork, not in front.
Wow, she's got one of the direct zero offset stems.
Yeah, so
Mondraker
it
has
makes
pretty much pioneered.
the bike a little twitchy, but you definitely have, like, what would you say, more control?
I think it almost makes the bike feel like you have more control the faster you go. You're set back on the bike. You're kind of more right over the suspension, making it work for you. But you really have to push hard and go fast for that to be working well for you. Otherwise,
well, she seems to be going pretty fast. So
yeah, she's got a pretty good lead. 7 seconds at split number 1. What's her finish?
let's check it out.
Wow,
What?
14 seconds, 4:04.
That's nuts. Here we see her through the rock garden again.
Pretty close to Jill's qualifying time.
Yeah. Only one girl can upset Camila here. We got Jill Kintner, national champion.
Reigning national champion, actually getting the 3-peat last weekend in Mammoth.
Slalom.
Able to take the slalom, the downhill, and the enduro win.
Yep.
And then making the long trip all the way across the country.
Just for West Virginia GRT, here she is setting the road gap. 34, a little slower than the other 2 girls, but I'm sure she'll be up at the split. Let's take a look.
Wow, 4.2 seconds, 4.25 seconds up at split number 1.
Just keep it rubber side down, and this is hers.
Although this rock section here is so technical and so steep, all it takes is one mistake, and you can really end up over the bars and off trail.
We saw one of the juniors go flying.
Yeah, and
earlier.
He wasn't one of the only ones. A lot of the amateurs having some troubles in this section as well.
Oh, man.
So she's keeping it slow and consistent. I wouldn't say slow, but definitely smooth and consistent here.
Picking the outside line just
She's
like
using
everybody.
a lot of the same lines as the pro men, though.
Getting a little hung up.
A little bit balled up on exit speed there.
Yep.
She is.
Through the
this
rhythm
is something she's
section.
going to be good at, though, into the rhythm section.
Just
Choosing
pumping
not
for
to pedal,
speed.
though. Just pumping it across the line. Let's see what her time is.
Oh, wow.
3:55.
9
breaking the
seconds.
4-minute barrier.
Well, that'll do it. Jill, I think she's undefeated in the GRTs right now then.
She is a 4-for-4 sweep right now.
Look at that overall. Yeah, we got Camila flying all the way out from Argentina to take that second spot behind Jill. And
So the only American in the top 3 is going to be on your top spot. That's Jill Kintner.
solid day then, eh?
That's going to do it for GRT number 4.
What a tight race. Nico Malali pulled off an incredible win, and all the top 5 men came within 1 second of each other. That's all for this episode of Mountain Bike Mania. It's hard to believe there's only 1 race left in the Pro GRT series, but we still have a couple races left in the Northwest Cup series. Next week, we're bringing you all the action from Stevens Pass, Washington. For all our crew and our sponsors, Angel Fire Bike Park, ODI Grips, Jensen USA, and KHS Bicycles, I'm Samantha McDonald. Mountain Bike Mania has been brought to you by KHS Bicycles, a full line of bicycles sold in 30 countries. Jensen USA, America's #1 online retailer of bikes and accessories, ODI, the world leader in grip technology, and Angel Fire Bike Park, the top-rated bike park in the Southwest.